Hey everyone, how's it going? I am Zeracon and I am back once again. Today, AMD had their Radeon RX showcase, and that was pretty interesting, I'd say. Well, it was interesting for the people who actually saw it, I'd say. I didn't have a chance to watch it. I actually was in a meeting at the time, so that was impossible for me. So I was pretty much just catching up on Twitter, just like seeing what like people I followed said, what people I guess like businesses like Newsegg said, like just and then just general tweets from AMD. So I was just like looking at that stuff, and based on what I saw, it looked like they had a pretty good show. I mean, looking at some of the performances that they show, like for example with the 6800, which is the base model card. It's pretty much either matching or just like straight up, outperforming the 2080 Ti. Which I mean, they should be doing that. I mean, that's something you would want to do. So it won't be matching like a 3080 at all. But I think that it's good that we're getting these like seeing some of these results. And then with the 6080 XT, I mean that's matching the 3080 most of the time, and it's also using less power as well, which is also pretty cool. Um, and then another crazy thing is the 6900 XT. Like that one, is also it's matching like the 3090, which is insane. I mean, well, it doesn't really match. I mean, it still loses to this 3090 in a couple areas with some games, but overall though, like it does a pretty good job at least competing with it. Now, we do have to realize that we have to wait for actual bench reviews and stuff like that, benchmarks and stuff like that. And another thing is also the fact that there was no ray tracing involved. That's what people said on Twitter and stuff. So that is a bit concerning, especially since we want, especially we want to know like how the games will perform with ray tracing, because they're showing the game's performances without ray tracing, so people want to know what that looks like with ray tracing. And another thing that which it's a bit sad for me is the fact that there was no DLSS equivalent that was shown. So that's a bit sad to hear, because that's really the only thing that would have that would have pushed me to get an AMD card, is the fact that I really want a DLSS equivalent, just so I can have that better performance while still having some pretty good resolution. Now, ray tracing that never really mattered to me, because that was too much of a hamper on performance. So I really wasn't going to do that. Like even if I had a 3080, I would not be using ray tracing just because I don't want to sacrifice my performance just to make things look a little bit prettier. That's never been my thing. I mean, if you like ray tracing, that's fine. That's completely fine. But just me personally, I don't care for it. Now, another thing is like the price points. Like the 6800 is $579. The six 60 sorry, the 6800 XT is 649, and the 6900 XT is $999. So that's pretty good, I'd say. I mean, well, I'm not sure. We don't know how much the 3070 will cost, and we don't even know how it's going to perform really either. So that's going to be interesting to see, especially matching up with the 6800. Because for all we know, I mean, it could be around like the same price point. I mean, to be honest, although I thought that the 3700 was going to be like $500 or something like that, or maybe it is $600 that was going to be. I don't remember how much that was supposed to cost, but the 3070 might beat the 6800 in price point. And depending on like what we see, it might still be about the same power. It might be as powerful. The 6800 XT is definitely cheaper than the 3000, $50. But the 6900 XT, that is like you're getting 3090 performance for like for $500 less. So that's really impressive. That's really good, I'd say. Again, like we don't know a lot about like other features. Now, Other things that I've seen were like, oh yeah, another thing that was important is the fact that they have 16 gigabytes of VRAM, which is more than like the 3080. Like I think I'm trying to remember if I think the 3090 has more VRAM. I can't recall off the top of my head. But still, I think that's pretty good. Now, I think also I saw some people say in some comments that that the cards are slower, but I still think that I still think that we're getting some good we're getting uh we're getting some good stuff here. I mean, AMD has been, I guess you could say, the butt of PC gaming jokes. Intel used to, mop the floor with them, but then they came back with Ryzen and like, now they're like putting Intel to shame. And Nvidia, Nvidia has been like on top of them, but now here's their chance to, just go and say, hey, we can still compete with you. Now, Nvidia still has to reveal their TIs or their super cards. So those will most likely, counter what AMD is doing here, because the XTs are, those are pretty much the, I guess you could call them the super or TI forms of of Nvidia's cards, but uh, but 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 it's a good way to at least provide this competition. And I'm definitely thinking that after today, I mean, Nvidia's, they're, I'm sure they're doing what they can in the situation, but I'm pretty certain now they're definitely going to try to start, pushing out more cards, more GPUs, so that way, people can buy them, which, I'm looking forward to, because, I kind of want my 3080. But yeah, so like so that's going to be a thing. And I don't know. Overall, I just thought it was good. I like the fact that AMD is able to be competitive. I'm glad that we have this competition going on, because having a monopoly is not a good thing. And I think that to a small degree, AMD is responsible for Nvidia's for their, I guess, competitiveness for introducing the 3080. I mean, we're getting a card that is more powerful than a 2080 Ti, and it's cheaper. Like that's insane to think that they would do something like that. Like, again, maybe Nvidia was just doing it because they wanted to really be competitive and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe AMD had something to do with what happened. I mean, Nvidia was on top. Like, there's no denying that. Like the 2000 series, and even like like the 1000 series, like the 1080 Ti, that was like, those were like the big GPs that like people are talking about. But I know, again, I just like seeing this competition, because it's good for us as the consumers, because we get more options. We can get these lower prices. Again, like, even looking at the Ryzen cards, I mean, oh my gosh, like, you can get a really good CPU for a really good price. Like, that's awesome. And I just like it. When I build my PC, I'm going to be getting a Ryzen CPU and Nvidia GPU, but we have these options. That's great. But yeah, so let me know what you guys thought of the presentation. Let me know if you're going to be getting the new Radeon RX cards, or are you going to be getting a Nvidia one, or are you just going to say, you know what, I'm going to wait until, the supers come out and make my decision then? Or are you just like, hey, I'm content with what I have right now. I've got my 2070 Super, I've got my 5600 XT, I'm fine with what I've got. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. So until next time, everyone, I am Zeracon signing off. Have a good one.